In this video, I'll introduce Tangora's built-in statistics interface, where a wealth of statistics on your site's activities are at your disposal, which you could use to help gauge your current success and plan your future online strategies. You'll find the statistics interface under the main administration area. You can get information on page views under the most frequently viewed pages area, and here you could select a given site if your solution contains more than one site, and then you could choose a time and/or date interval, and the number of pages you want to gauge. We could also set this parameter to all. Notice here too that you have the option to include or exclude search robots. Search robots are the tools whereby your site is indexed by various internet search engines, so it is seldom that you'll want to include these visits in your analysis. The results here show me the most popular pages at the top and how many times they were visited. We can also see that we get a total number of distinct visits to your Tangora solution, represented by the word session, which is just a technical term for visit. As you have throughout Tangora statistics, you have a print function here, so you can print your information, and then at a glance you'll be able to make cross comparisons as you see fit. The results may be spread over several pages, so there's a built-in navigation to allow you to browse. But we have even more information we could view here. In a pattern that we'll see repeated under each tab, we're able to click into the whos, whens, and wheres of our guests' visits. We could see that if I click on a given result, we could see who visited the page, represented by the so-called IP address of the visitor. If I click again, I get information on when the page was visited, a representation of the so-called sessions. Incidentally, we could also see here which operating system and browser were in use, and if the visitor was anonymous or if they had an identity based on Tangora's external user module. If I click yet again, I could actually see for a given visit where the visitor otherwise has been in my solution and in what order. I'm going to skip over to the Visitors tab now, which essentially lets you know which visitors have come into your site the most, and otherwise lets you know how many visitors you have. Here again we could click on the results to get more information on our visitors. And so here we have the total number of visitors displayed under the Visitors tab, and the total number of visits we can see from the Most Frequently Viewed Pages tab. But there's a twist. A visitor is identified by the technical term IP address, but an IP address could be used by many people. For example, the employees at a given office location are likely to have the same IP address. Therefore, you could actually count on having more individuals visiting your site than represented by the visitor count, and that number will be somewhere between the number of visitors as represented by the IP address and the distinct sessions or visits, which will be higher than the number of individual visitors because an individual can visit a site more than once. Okay, let's continue the tour. Under Activity Level, you can get a sense of when your site is being visited. This lets you know what days and time periods your site is most visited. For example, is it mostly weekdays or weekends? Is it mostly during the day or during the evening? Just like Most Frequently Viewed Pages, if you click on a given time, you will see an overview of which visitors have come to your site, identified by their IP address, and then you could click again to see info on the given session, and finally, you could look at the details of a given session. The References tab lists the websites from which you are being visited. This is say what site was your visitor on when they clicked a link and visited you. Here you can get the answers to which of the sites that are linking to you are driving the most traffic to your site, including notably the search engines that your visitors are using to find you. Here again you could click on the various results to ascertain who the visitor is, when they came, and where they otherwise were on your site. The Search Engine tab lets you know which words are being used in search engines when your guests are finding you. As you can see, you could choose from a list of the largest search engines at the top, and the same pattern of being able to narrow down to a specific session is once again repeated here. Browser simply lets you know which browsers your visitors use, and you could also get information on their operating system, or OS, and you could ascertain whether a given browser is statistically important enough to bear extra consideration. There are a few more features I'd like to share with you. In the navigation of the left-hand column, we'll see that we also have a point Module Statistics. And here we can see that you have a wealth of statistics specific to the modules that you may have in your Tangora solution. I won't go into detail, but here you can see, for example, how many times people have logged into password-protected areas of your site, how many times a given search word was used in our search module, and what the most popular links are in your newsletters, which files are downloaded the most on your site, and which FAQ entries are hot. Under Name IP Number, you could also name an IP address, if the IP address is, for example, a major customer. This could help you keep track of their activity at a glance. There's also an IP filtering area, where you can make exceptions of which IP addresses are logged. This is handy because you probably want to exclude your own company's IP addresses to get an accurate picture. So there's a lot of information available to you, and you will have noticed that there are various different approaches to the same data pool which can help you structure your analysis. So now we've taken a look at the extensive statistical information Tangora provides, which you can utilize to assess your organization's success and inform your strategic planning. Thank you for watching.